Namaskar. Welcome to the National Education Policy 2020 Professional Development Program for teachers of universities and colleges. This program is being organized by the Indira Gandhi National Open University. We are doing a program for these teachers, and today we are in the 14th batch of these teachers. This is the fourth session of this live conferencing, which is being telecast on Swayamprabha. I welcome you on behalf of IGNOU, on behalf of all the experts. I welcome you to this session. Today we have with us as expert, eminent educationist, Pro Vice Chancellor, Indira Gandhi National Open University, Professor Kiran Hazarika ji. Sir, welcome to this program.
Thank you. Thank you.
For the information of all the participants, teachers, I'd like to tell you that Professor Hazarika ji, of course he is the Pro Vice Chancellor of the Indira Gandhi Open University, but in addition to that, he has held a number of very important positions in higher education. He's been head of institution, he has also been a commissioned member of the UGC. He has been involved in a number of committees that have been related to the formulation of the national education policy, and so he is quite the right person to be speaking to us today. In addition to that, Professor Hazarika has received a number of awards for his work in higher education. He has done a lot of very, very innovative work in Assam, where he has spent a lot of time of his teaching career. He is also responsible in IGNOU for a number of important portfolios and innovative programs. So today he will be talking about a very important aspect of the national education policy, which is transformative reform in higher education. This topic is extremely important because the whole purpose of the national education policy is to bring about change, to ensure that the NEP 2020 is able to fulfill the objectives of access, equity and inclusion, which are mandated by the policy. On behalf of all of us, I once again welcome Professor Hazarika ji.
Namaste.
And I hand over the session to him. His presentation will begin in a few seconds from now.
Thank you. Namaskar to all. Hokoloke namaskar janaisu. Lot of viewers from Assam also being reported. The subject, the transformative reforms in higher education. It's a very relevant topic with the present higher education scenario, because it's a big country having 135 crore population. We are having the institutions, 42,000, more than 42,000 colleges, including engineering colleges, and having 1,000 university, nearly 1,000 universities all over the country. But we have to manage our population because the human resource in our country, it's a great resource. So now the education, the NEP 2020, this new education policy, national education policy, is have a lot of directions, indications to reform the present higher education systems. Very soon it is going to be changes. But in the light of the NEP 2020, University Grant Commission has made so many reforms in higher education systems. So I'm going to say about some higher education systems being changed in the UGC, because all of we know only the apex body, and that is University Grant Commission, UGC. UGC already frame a quality mandate how we enhance the quality in our higher education system. That is very much necessary. So University Grant Commission has some mandate regarding we have taken, University Grant Commission has taken 10 initiatives that is displayed in the board. You see that this is Diksharambha, that is Student Induction Program, and it is called SIP. After getting the student in admission in institution, so we have a learning outcome based LOCF that is also made by the one framework. This framework also made by the University Grant Commission. So we need the definite outcomes from our education system for the futuristic approach. As well as that alumni association involvement in higher education system, it is very much necessary. So even the NEC, it is NEC also asking the one criteria, the alumni association involvement in the development process of the Indian higher education institution, as well as the quality resource. And because in our country normally we are doing research just to have a degree, but from the research we need some outcomes. So what type of outcomes we need? Our research findings, if necessary, if it is needful, if it is giving such a benefit for our countries, our communities, our environment, our societies, so such type of questions are there. As well as the evaluation reforms also already been made. Those who are already engaged in the higher education system, especially in the evaluation system, all of you very aware of this about the evaluation reforms already made by the University Grant Commission in the light of NEP 2020. As well as we know the life skills, that is Jivan Kaushal. It is now the mandate and it is an additional, not earlier it was additional, now it is become a partial program in our regular curriculum, the life skill. As well as the accreditation in higher education institution, that is, it is mandatory because I already mentioned that we are having 42,000 colleges and more than 1,000 universities. But till now we are having only 25,000 institutions are being accredited by the NEC. So it is also waiting, because if you want to develop our enhanced quality educations in our higher education institution, we must need to go through the accreditation and assessment by the NEC. As well as the social industry connect, because we are having institutions, but we don't have some relation with our society, any contribution, direct contribution to the society. So we are having an institution, but nearby surrounding we are a lot of industries we have, but there is no connectivity with the industries. So how we made the linkage with the institutions, with the industries and social connectivity, that is very much necessary. It is also one of the initiative taken by the UGC in their mandate format. So as well as the faculty induction program, it is also necessary because every year so many new faculties are appointed in our institutions, but they are very beginners. So they must have some awareness must have some pre-knowledge about the institutions, about the students' natures, behaviors, and their mentality, because country, the region-wise and locality-wise, the mentality of the students and the environment of the institutions are different. So we need some faculty induction program with the new education system. As well as the last point, that is very important point, that the ICT based learning, teaching learning process. Because without having, because NEP 2020 is the third principle is the use of technology. So without having the technology, we cannot go through. So this is the Diksharamba, that is the student induction program. I already told you that. It is the 6 days induction. The UGC has suggested to university, but the newcomers student, they need to attend a program, that is the student induction program, because the objective of this program is the just bonding and familiarization with the institution, faculty, and inculcation of human values. Because without having the human values, we cannot go, we cannot run our society, our lifestyle, because now the values, the human values is decreasing. There are a lot of crimes is going on. Lot of students are engaged in the crimes. So we need some make some human values, because in institution, one student is coming to admitted in institution. After 3 years or 5 years, he is going out from the institution. But he just able to know only his department, because अपनी डिपार्टमेंट की जानकारी केवल होती है एक आध आजू बाजू के डिपार्टमेंट की, इससे आगे उनको नहीं है. क्योंकि किसी भी संस्थान में अगर कोई भर्ती होता है, एटलीस्ट ही शुड नो द इंस्टीट्यूशन, about the institution's values, about the how many departments, who is the vice chancellor or who is the principal of the institution, or any professors engaged in such noble works, literary work or social activities, organizer like that. So he should be familiar with the institution. So this program is very necessary for the students induction program to concerns of the students, insecurity about the future, aspiration, career orientation. Lot of things are involved in this 6 days program, and activities also suggested by the Diksharamba program, that is physical activities, some mentoring, the familiarization to department, अलग अलग जो विभाग है, अलग अलग लाइब्रेरी. बहुत सारे बच्चे कभी लाइब्रेरी नहीं जाते, फिर वो पास होकर चले जाते. सो अलग अलग ब्रांचेस होती हैं, सम क्रिएटिव आर्ट्स, कल्चर, लिटरेरी एक्टिविटीज़, लर्नर्स बाय एमिनेंट पीपल्स, विजिट टू ए लोकल एरिया. हमें थोड़ा लोकल एरिया का भी जानकारी होने चाहिए. दैट इज सैज सेशन आल्सो सजेस्टेड बाय द Diksharamba. So another the very important point, that is learning outcome based curriculum framework. It is already uploaded in the UGC website, but on what basis the curriculum framework being framed. So learning access is because this is especially made for the students, so it is called student centric approach. So aims to equip students with knowledge, skills, values and attitudes is necessary. So as well as some attributes like disciplinary knowledge, because other multidisciplinary knowledge is very much necessary, as well as the communication skills. हमारे बच्चे बहुत सारे पास हो जाते हैं, but they are lacking in the communication skill, because all of you know that without having the communication skill, a man cannot be survive, even cannot be developed, cannot be engaged in a good institutions or good agencies for appointment. So as well as, but it is a one the values of mankind, because it's a skill. Because if we are having is good skills in communication, then that is our personality also. So as well as the critical thinking. Normally we are never thinking about the critic things. So we are immediately normally we are skipping out the critical things. But we need some critical things. It creates some good power in human being brains. So it makes some problem solving issues, analytical reasonings, multicultural competence, moral and ethical lifelong learning shall be instilled in all graduates. So these sort of values should be included in our curriculum framework. Then we can expect some good outcomes in our education systems. as well as a process is to align the attribute to be attained by a graduate with a program learning outcomes and academic standards. So we must maintain the standard of our curriculum, as well as the UGC has prepared a model curriculum in 30 subjects. It is in our UGC's portal. So request all universities and students may kindly visit the when we are going to preparing our revised curriculum. Then we go through the this model curriculum, which is displayed available in our in the UGC domains. There are 31 subjects, as I said, that models are there. The another important things is that ICT based learning tools, because without having now the chalk and talk systems, with perhaps in all over the countries, still we are having the 80% teaching system is based on the chalk and talk. But we must, I have seen, I was the head of the institution, I have visited, being a NEC PT member also, I visited so many institutions all over the countries. So I have seen that we are having 2 or 3 only the digital rooms. But normally the colleges never uses these digital rooms for the students, because we need some, because through ICT based learning systems, if you are using such type of ICT tools, it will easier to learning the learners to acquire their knowledge. So ICT based learning tools, that is effective teaching and learning process it is called, and then as well as that online learning through EPG Pathshala. This is a EPG Pathshala. It is also connected with the UGC portal. It is controlled by the Ministry of Education. So EPG Pathshala, it is online learning process. There is another thing that is National Digital Library. It is also Higher Education Department developed a National Digital Library. Any books, if once you registered your name in this portal, then you can search, access any books as your required. So this technology adoption in higher education, you see another point, that is UGC regulations for ODL and online programs. Because today's in programs, more than 80% viewers are from our online education system or ODL systems you are joined. So you need the University Grant Commission in 2020 redesigning our UGC regulation on ODL and online programs. So presently, earlier we did only the ODL system, that is open distance learning system was existed. But presently the online program also included, and so many institutions already being registered and they are starting their online programs also. So now through the online programs we can issue the certificates. There are so many programs are there for certificate programs, diploma programs, degree programs allowed for eligible institution. All our institutions not are eligible, and certain institutions are UGC has specified and they are verified and they have been qualified, and now they were allowed to start their program. All of you are very aware of the MOOCs, about the MOOCs, that is massive open online courses. The SWAYAM, the name of this portal is SWAYAM portal, because it is the largest portal in all over the world now, because every day 40 million students access the SWAYAM portals. It's the largest portal in all over the world. Earlier there was some portals like Coursera. It is jointly developed by the America and Australia, that is Coursera. Presently the SWAYAM, earlier that was available, but the SWAYAM portal beating up every MOOCs portals now. So higher education institution can offer 40% of the total courses being offered in particular programs in a semester through the online learning courses provided through the SWAYAM platform, because now these platforms are, because University Grant Commission already adopted the suggestion of the new education policy, that is that is academic bankrupt credit. Because if somebody, a student accessing his classes through the SWAYAM portal, so if he is registered in ABC, then his credits may be transferred to his paternal university or his program. So students should be cautious about the SWAYAM portal. So you go through the SWAYAM portal and you may access 40% of total classes from the SWAYAM, because we have, I think in SWAYAM portal more than 287 courses are available in this, and 287 degree courses are available, PG 87. So even some medical courses are, and other engineering courses are also available in SWAYAM portal. These are ICT initiative adoption of UGC regulation on credit transfer through SWAYAM MOOCs. These are the institutions registered. It was prepared में मैंने इसको पहले बताया था. अभी so many institutions are registered. The numbers of institutions and states are increased now by double presently, by double. Exact, but you may just imagine the institution now registered their credit transfer system through the SWAYAM portal. So students, I request the students, please go through the SWAYAM portals, any type of, because there are 4 phases in this audience. Audio versions are there, audio visual versions are there, even the text are there, even analytical systems are there in MOOCs. Any things you can go through the, if you want to go through the analytical studies, then you will get some analytical study in the SWAYAM portal. There are 4 options, 4 pages in the SWAYAM portal. Another thing is that the university or colleges, the industry linkage. You see there, we have community colleges in our country, 199 higher education institutions, 83, there are 83 trades and branches, and students are, student maybe the numbers of students may be vary. It is earlier, it is only 15,550 students in community colleges. The numbers may be different. So as well as the Bachelor of Vocation, 162 institutions under the vocational education now starting. The number of institutions already being it is increased. We are having more than 3 vocational or skill university started in our even one having in Delhi, one in Jammu, and another one in Sikkim. Even in Assam, state of Assam also started skill university. So we are more than 4-5 universities are based on the skill, special university, distinguished university on skill. So 103 trades are there, and probably 19,050 students are under the Bachelor of Vocation all over the country. And another initiative university as taken, that is Deen Dayal Upadhyay Kaushal Kendra. We are having 60, the numbers of it is 67 now, higher education institution, and 79, there are 79 trades and 8,600 students under this Deen Dayal Upadhyay Kaushal Kendra. They studied, and already 5 years is being over. It was started in 2015. Although the NEP 2020, it is saying about the skill, integrated skill education and vocational education in higher education system, but University Grant Commission already being adopted, pre-adopted such type of decision, suggestion made in the NEP 2020. As well as some policy document on university and industry linkage, it is very necessary. It is so many policy documents already been made by the University Grant Commission through expert committee. It is now available in our website also. दूसरा है कि लाइफ स्किल जो जीवन कौशल है, तो जीवन कौशल is that is very much necessary, especially there are four wings. We designed the 4 wings. One wing is communicative skill, another is professional skill, third one is leadership, management and entrepreneurship skill, and fourth one universal human values. These trees, within you see this phenomenon, there are 4 phases, but 3 phases is based on the skill, another phase is based on the human values. Because in first slide I told about without human values, we cannot go through. Because human values is very much necessary. So communication, I already said some professional skills means I am a skill having, suppose I am a automobile skill, I having automobile skill, I have a driving skill, I have mobile skill, mobile repairing skill, two-wheeler repairing skill. This sort of so many, we are 460, there are 460 trades in presently we have in our countries. So leadership, management and entrepreneurship skill is very much necessary, because skill itself quality of leaders. अगर मैं एक स्किल्स में सीखा हूँ, अगर मैं एक मोबाइल रिपेयरिंग का मैंने स्किल सीखा हूँ, अगर मैंने एक शॉप खोल लिया, मैंने एक मोबाइल रिपेयरिंग का एक मैंने शॉप बनाया किसी एक शहर में, तो उससे मैं खुद भी करूँगा और मैं 3-4 अपॉइंटमेंट कर सकता हूँ, या ज़्यादा भी मैं अगर बड़ा एक इस फ्रेंचाइज में खोलता हूँ, उससे क्या हो जाएगा, मैं 20 आदमी का भी एंगेज कर सकता हूँ. सो फॉर इन स्किल सेक्टर्स वी नीड सम डेवलपमेंट ऑफ द लीडरशिप and management quality. So this sort of initiative and mandate is framed by the UGC. So evaluation, reforms and recommendation. You see the objective of examination system, that is the test learning outcomes, knowledge gain, attitude develop and skill matter. Skill. So here also matter. Now the University Grant Commission, the framing, the designing of our curriculum, the way in our curriculum the skill is become a mandatory part. So already even new education policy suggested for suppose now suggested 120 credit in the undergraduate courses. So in undergraduate, in every semester, University Grant Commission suggested minimum 4 credit content should be in skill base. So evaluation system also based on such the outcome based, knowledge based, as well as the in terms of you see the separate suitable model for UG, PG, MPhil, PhD to be developed. अलग अलग से अभी मॉडल का डेवलप कर दिया गया है, यूजीसी ने अभी कर दिया है, तो इसी को अदर यूनिवर्सिटी को हमें एडॉप्ट करना है. तो इसमें और एक चीज़ है कि इंटरनल एंड कंटिन्यूअस एवेल्यूशन टू बी एम्फसाइज विदाउट कंप्रोमाइजिंग क्वालिटी एंड स्टैंडर्ड, बिकॉज हमें किसी भी क्वालिटी में हम किसी भी प्रकार का कॉम्प्रोमाइज़ करेंगे नहीं, बट वी मस्ट नीड द क्वालिटी आउटकम्स. विदाउट क्वालिटी आउटकम्स हमारे समाज के कोई लाभ नहीं है. हम केवल वी आर आवर यूनिवर्सिटीज आर जस्ट प्रोड्यूसिंग डिग्री. बाय प्रोड्यूसिंग डिग्री वी आर फेसिंग द अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट प्रॉब्लम ऑल ओवर द कंट्री, बिकॉज आवर प्रोडक्शंस is useless production. So their evaluation systems, our course curriculum systems, we have to develop the such a way which is based on the outcome base, because our degree must have the social relevance, must have the industrial relevance, must have the our nation's relevance. The need based curriculum and need based product we suggest, the evaluation reforms being suggested in their recommendation. The new expert committee also being formed by the University Grant Commission, they suggested in 2021 the new evaluation reforms recommendation. These recommendations are now available on our University Grant Commission portals. So you may visit these portals. And another the point is very important, that is the technological interventions, measures which range of skill and knowledge. That is a measures wider range. The technological intervention, it's a wider range in every space of evaluation system. Because अगर हम किसी भी सिस्टम को अभी टेक्नोलॉजी का एवोल्यूशन सिस्टम में भी अभी टेक्नोलॉजी का यूज़ करना है, तो इसीलिए इसका सजेशन यूजीसी ने दिया है एज अ डिजिटल डिपोजिटरी ऑफ डिग्रीज एंड मार्कशीट. Because now the DigiLock system is being suggested by the UGC, and so many university already practicing to upload their productions and degrees in these digital depositories, which is called the DigiLock system. The student can easily access his mark sheet without coming. Suppose the IGNOU students, they should not come to the Maidan Gari, that is in Delhi. They can access their mark sheet, download their mark sheet in their own native village or their cities, own cities or town. So this system being adopted by the UGC through the evaluation reforms and recommendations. And another important thing is that on-demand examination. That is, national board may establish initially with a popular degree program, extensive use of technology. Another thing is that value-based education, I already emphasized, stated, to emphasize on value integrated teaching, learning and value-based conduct. This is the main point. Another point, that is a focus on holistic development of the personality of the learners. Because so therefore in our curriculum framework, we need to base value-based education system. So University Grant Commission suggested in 120 degree programs, credit degree programs, 4 credit in every semester, Bharat Budh, like the Bharat Budh program being suggested. So where the student, the human values can be developed. Because हम अपने राष्ट्र को जाने बिना, हमारे समाज को जाने बिना, हमारे गुरुओं के बारे में जाने बिना, हमारे शैक्षिक जो मूल्यबोध है उसको जाने बिना, हमारी संस्कृति को जाने बिना हम आगे जा ही नहीं सकता है. इसीलिए हम किसी भी कोर्सेज के कंटेंट में अभी सजेस्टेड है वैल्यू बेस्ड एजुकेशन content should be developed in our curriculum. Another thing is that inculcation of universal values like truth, righteous conduct, peace, non-violence and love. It is necessary content in the value-based education system. And the promoting the yogic science, already University Grant Commission, so many circular being circulated in their portal to promoting the yogic science. Yogic is necessary for the humankind development. It is integrated development like mind, शरीर जिसको मन तन मन शरीर के तीनों चीज़ों का एक कोऑर्डिनेशन जो इंटीग्रेटेड डेवलपमेंट होता है तन मन शरीर. इसीलिए योगिक साइंस का एप्लीकेशन इन द एवरी इंस्टीट्यूशन इज नेसेसरी in any way through the curriculum they may use or through some additional add-on practices can be done within the campus. So another thing is that the social cohesion and national integration is necessary because without knowledge of our national integration, इतने बड़े देश में अलग अलग भाषा भाषी लोग रहते हैं, अलग अलग प्रांत रहते हैं. सबसे ठंडी जगह बर्फीला जगह भी हमारे पास है, सबसे गर्मी जगह रेगिस्तान भी हमारे पास है, सबसे अधिक घना जंगल वाला प्रदेश भी हमारे पास है, नदियों से बड़ा हुआ प्रदेश भी हमारे पास, बड़ा पठार का प्रदेश भी हमारे पास है. इतनी एक वेराइटीज़ ऑफ जो जिसको जितनी डाइवर्सिटी within our system, within our geography, our जो पॉलिटिकल बाउंड्री है हमारा विदिन ए नेशन आपको कहीं नहीं मिलेगा. अफ्रीका जाओगे तो सेम डिजर्ट मिलेगा, थोड़ा सा ग्रास मिलेगा. अब अरेबियन काउंट्री जाओगे केवल तो रेत ही मिलेगा, रेगिस्तान ही मिलेगा. आप जाओगे यूरोपियन कंट्री से प्लेन पठार एरिया है, ग्रीनरी हल्का. बट दिस सॉर्ट ऑफ बायोडाइवर्सिटी, different geographical, topical changes you never seen in other countries. This is the only country that is India, perhaps. And another thing that the faculty development program, this FDP it is called. Now from the last 5 years, we have seen that this suggestion being implemented by every university all over the country, because we need some framing, some annual refresher courses, training for all teachers, leadership management and training for all educational administrators, or as well as the HRDC and जो ह्यूमन रिसोर्स डेवलपमेंट सेंटर्स सब हैं हमारे यूजीसी के, और फिर नेशनल रिसर्च सेंटर्स है, फिर टीएलसी है, इसी हिसाब से एफडीसी है, फैकल्टी डेवलपमेंट सेंटर्स किसी किसी यूनिवर्सिटी में दिया गया है, इन सभी में फैकल्टी डेवलपमेंट के प्रोग्राम चल रहा है. तो अनदर प्रोग्राम ऑल्सो इनिशिएटेड बाय द यूजीसी, दैट इज द स्ट्राइड स्कीम फॉर ट्रांसडिसिप्लिनरी रिसर्च through higher education institution for national development and entrepreneurship. So ये इसमें 3 कंपोनेंट है. कंपोनेंट 1 में जो रिसर्च कैपेसिटी बिल्डिंग इंडिविजुअल पे दिया जाता है, और नेशनल कंपोनेंट दैट इज हायर क्वालिटी रिसर्च अक्रॉस डिसिप्लिनरी बाउंड्रीज, मल्टी डिसिप्लिन्स में हम जा सकते हैं, 2 संस्थान के अंदर सकते हैं. एंड देन अनदर कंपोनेंट इज हाई इम्पैक्ट रिसर्च प्रोजेक्ट इन दी आइडेंटिफाइड ट्रस्ट एरिया. इंस्टीट्यूशन लेवल can apply for this stride. बट हमने देखा था, मैं खुद इस कमेटी का मैं मेंबर रहा कंपोनेंट 1 का. हमने जब इसकी एडवर्टाइजमेंट हुई थी यूजीसी में पोर्टल में, वी हैव रिसीव ओनली 57 एप्लीकेशन इसी. बट हमने देखा है कि आजकल का जो हमारी जो सिस्टम्स है, वी नेवर विजिटेड, बिकॉज यूजीसी इज द apex body to control our education system. Lot of regulation, guidelines, schemes are available. अभी थोड़ा बहुत कम है, अलग बात है, बट हमारी सिस्टम, हमारी जो एजुकेशन के जो लीडर्स है, एकेडमिक, और जो टीचर्स है, our students, they never visit UGC. So always we should visit the UGC portal, because due to lacking of awareness, the application, less numbers of application we receive in our office. Therefore, this is just my experience I am sharing with you, sir. Thank you. Now, another thing, the Consortium for Academic and Research Ethics, all of you know the CARE journals, because so many peer reviews support journals were are available before 2019 June. Because we have seen the expert seen that our journals, the journals are very dubious and using the copying system. Just they are writing the articles for their promotions only. We have seen the expertise report. It is not my observation. The expert report told that the articles write in the peer-reviewed journals were very dubious. Therefore, the new system being developed by the UGC, that is Consortium for Academic and Research Ethics, that is called CARE. But this is specially online based portal. This is portal based, technology based portal. This portal can assess the article, whether it is dubious, whether it is copying. 50 शब्द से अधिक अगर आपने किसी कोटेशन भी दे दिया, तो दिस आर्टिकल्स मे बी रिजेक्टेड और द सिस्टम discontinued the journal immediately. This is the formula of this portal. So our the research, those who are doing practice of research article writings, it is because it is very necessary for every professor. Minimum we need to 6 to 10 articles in our personal development, our career development. So we are always used. So be careful. Please try to get a quality research. So established by UGC to maintain a list of credible and quality journals. That is the main theme. So अभी streamline करना है किसको? To streamline a process of academic journals, evaluations and promoting of academic. Earlier there was no evaluation system or assessment system in our journals. But it was peer reviewed. But peer reviewed so many times only that it is written, but whether how many articles are being reviewed in our system. So it is the question. the high quality publications will lead to achieve high global ranks and overall improvement of quality of education. Because now it is very difficult to get a care listed journal, because we must go through our publishers must have go through the quality parameters. Another, the mentoring of non-accredited institution. Every institution can get accreditation. Accreditation institution added the mentors for non-accreditation institution. हमने बोला कि इतने बड़े देश में एक नेक सबको प्रशिक्षण करना ये आसानी बात नहीं है, इसीलिए अभी नेक ने those institutions are having good achievement. Suppose A double plus grading student institutions or A plus grading institution. So some institution being verified and qualified, and for mentoring the nearby institutions. Some clustering institutions, institution can be clustered, some institution for the mentoring. So because national assessment and accreditation system, I already told you that we are having only 22,000 to 25,000 institutions only accredited all over the country. So we need much more interest and trainings to get institution accreditation. So another thing is the guidelines for mentoring non-aspiration institution by a well-performing institution to promote quality assurance in higher education, that is called Paramarsh, has been prepared. So Paramarsh guidelines also being prepared. There is a photo, you see it is Paramarsh guideline, and we now presently 167 mentor institutions. It is now increased to 250 institutions, and we shall provided mentoring to 936 in identified centers. Mentors-mentee system being adopted. These institutions, mentors are as well as mentees, higher education institution being identified. Some regulatory reforms, I said that so many University Grant Commission made this University Grant Commission open distance learning program, I already told. University Grant Commission credit framework, that is I already told. And UGC categorizing of university only for grant of graded autonomy regulation, that is 2018. It is also being, but it is being now observed, and new regulation is nomenclature is being framing now. New regulation for autonomous students is incoming. So UGC conferment of autonomous status upon colleges measures maintenance standard in autonomous regulation. It is now working out, but in university National Education Policy 2020 suggested to give more autonomy to more institutions for self-designing of their curriculum, for offering the degrees also suggested by the NEP 2020. So University Grant Commission establishing operation of academic bank credit, I already told you, guidelines for multiple entry and multiple exit system academic as per NEP 2020 being framed. NEP 2020 ambitions and education system now rooted in Indian ethos that contribute directly to transforming India. NEP 2020 recommends an higher education, that is holistic, multidisciplinary, engaging, experimental and flexible, liberating education system in higher education. Initiative taken by the UGC to fulfill the policy recommendation. Already you may, if you visit the University Grant Commission portal, then you will get the National Higher Education Qualification Framework is there, academic bankrupt credit is there, multiple entry and the guidelines for the multiple entry and multiple exit in academic programs also being enforced in the higher education institutions. Internationalization of higher education, you see it is also initiative taken by the university, one guidelines being framed by the UGC. But in our countries, we seen the only 3 lakh students, student reading in the America from our India. But in our country, we are having only 65,000 of foreign students in our country. So it is very necessary. So internationalization of Indian higher education is very necessary to development of educational framework for global policy of mutual recognitions apprenticeships, internship, embedded degree programs being suggested. These are being already implemented. A national higher education qualification framework will be formulated. Already इसको formulation complete हो चुका है. These are the academic bank. इसके बारे में कई programs already COE ने STRIDE ने organize किया है. तो मल्टीपल ऑर्गेनाइज किया. इस पर मैं डिटेल्स में मैं नहीं जाऊंगा. तो इस इंटरनेशनल ऑफ इंडियन हायर एजुकेशन, दीज आर सब अदर इनिशिएटिव में से मैं बताऊंगा आपको. ये बहुत नेसेसरी है. वन एक्सपर्ट कमिटीज हैव बीन वर्किंग ऑन द फॉलोइंग इनिशिएटिव: डेवलपमेंट ऑफ एजुकेशनल फ्रेमवर्क फॉर ग्लोबल सिटीजन इन हायर एजुकेशन, undertaking the policy for mutual recognition of degrees in the context NEP 20. I will come again to discuss about these points in near future. So this guideline, because some no nomenclature, one very initially in UGC has circulated one guidelines. So you please visit. This is for the public. It is for public. So how the national credit framework will be, maybe from how we can designing our curriculum, what is the nomenclature for the degree offering the degrees, such type of, you can, being a student you can suggest in this portal, being a professors you can suggest in this portal, even the guardians जिनका बच्चों का जो अभिभावक है वो भी इस पोर्टल में कुछ उनका सजेशन दे सकते हैं. तो इसीलिए इस पोर्टल के बारे में आपके सबके सामने मैंने थोड़ा विषय रखा है. प्रेजेंटली वेरी रिसेंटली इट इज़ अपलोडेड इन द यूजीसी पोर्टल. थैंक यू वेरी मच. आपने हमारे विषय बारे में सुना है. तो नमस्ते सबको पुनः धन्यवाद.
थैंक यू वेरी मच सर. बहुत ही इंटरेस्टिंग और इन्फॉर्मेटिव सेशन था और बहुत सारे सवाल आए हैं. मैं कोशिश करती हूँ कि इनको आपके सामने प्रस्तुत करें. सबसे पहले तो जो सवाल बार बार आ रहा था कि कुछ टीचर्स ने पूछा है कि जो ग्रामीण क्षेत्र में जिस प्रकार के कॉलेजेस हैं और जहाँ पे एक ही डिपार्टमेंट है या 2-3 स्ट्रीम्स ही हैं, उनको किस प्रकार से ट्रांसफॉर्म किया जा सकता है, उसके बारे में आप थोड़ा सा अगर इनको कुछ गाइडेंस दें, बताएं तो.
वेरी नाइस क्वेश्चन. थैंक यू प्रोफेसर फॉर आस्किंग दिस क्वेश्चन. बिकॉज भारत तो ग्राम में बसता है. तो इन दिस वे यू सी द यूनिवर्सिटी ग्रांट कमीशन ऑलरेडी सजेस्टेड, इवन NEP 2020 ऑल्सो सजेस्टेड फॉर क्लस्टरिंग द institutions. So if some institution in very remote area just having very few departments and less numbers of teachers, so in that case the UGC and the NEP 2020 suggested to clustering this institution with the nearby good institutions or quality institution or big institution. Even the circular already suggested to circulated to the chief secretaries of the state of the concerning states to take such type of initiative by the state government, because the establishment of institution it's a part of the state government. Thank you.
थैंक यू सर.
Thank you.
और कुछ लोगों को रिसर्च के बारे में इंटरेस्ट है, मगर ये शिकायत है कि कभी कभार वो पब्लिश करते हैं, दे पब्लिश द पेपर, दे लाइक वांट टू पब्लिश द पेपर्स बट द जर्नल्स दे टेक टू लॉन्ग टू डू इट, मे बी 2-3 years और देन दे रिटर्न द पेपर्स. तो उसके बारे में कुछ आप क्या सजेशन देंगे?
वेरी बढ़िया सजेशन है. बिकॉज अभी आप देखिए कि अभी जो रिगार्डिंग द केयर लिस्ट जर्नल, ये हमारा जो पोर्टल अभी चल रहा है उसमें भी कि नॉर्मली समटाइम्स पीपल जो दोज फॉर द आर्टिकल राइटर्स नॉर्मली दे यूजेस टू मेक सम कोटेशन. Sometimes it may be crossing the 50 word. So in that case, it cannot be said that is dubious. But the portal being developed sometimes declared and it is dubious, and the journal automatically discontinued from the system. तो अभी थोड़े से हमारे पास जर्नल्स आर वेरी लेस नंबर्स ऑफ जर्नल्स नाउ इन आवर सिस्टम इन केयर लिस्ट. सो अभी आपका जो स्टूडेंट्स है या दोज वर स्टूडेंट्स एंड प्रोफेसर, यू मे कंटिन्यू योर प्रैक्टिसेस. You publish in the other peer-reviewed journals also, other the ISSN journals, because some weightage it is depend upon the universities and the experts, those who are sitting in the selection processes or screening processes. So my suggestion is that you continue your writings, articles in quality, in the quality mandate. Go you. तो मुझे लगता है कि इससे आपकी समस्या कम हो जाएगी. आप लिखिए. अभी आने वाले समय में और ज़रा केयर जर्नल्स को करेंगे. इसमें कुछ काम चल रहा है, एक्सपर्ट विजिट चल रहा है इसमें. सो वेरी सुन द एक्सपर्ट ऑब्जर्वेशन विल कम टू डेवलप आवर केयर सिस्टम. थैंक यू.
सर, जिस प्रकार के सवाल आ रहे हैं उनसे लगता है कि दैट टीचर्स आर वेरी मच इंक्लाइंड टुवर्ड्स टेक्नोलॉजी एंड दे आर वेरी इंटरेस्टेड इन टेकिंग अप टेक्नोलॉजी. But the worry is that one of them has asked, will the technology replace the classroom? और दूसरों ने पूछा है कि किस प्रकार से वो अपने इंस्टीट्यूशंस में डिजिटल क्लासरूम्स बना सकते हैं ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन के तौर पे.
How for the transformations of Indian higher education, because digital classes is necessary, because I already said that 42,000 colleges we are having. Some government colleges are there, some private colleges, but some private colleges are very nice. They are having more digitalized or smart classrooms. But in our rural area, they are not having such a class smart. But they are having a smart room, but the network connectivity is very poor. So in such a way, we have to find out the solution in our institution level, our local level, because my direction or UGC direction to implement the digital system, it may be feasible in their local level. So in local level, in individual level, they have to try it out to make the solution. Thank you.
और एक सवाल आ रहा है ऑन डिमांड एग्जामिनेशन पे. लोग जानना चाहते हैं, टीचर्स जानना चाहते हैं कि ये ऑन डिमांड एग्जामिनेशन क्या चीज़ है, किस प्रकार से इसको करा जा सकता है.
हाँ, ऑन डिमांड एग्जामिनेशन सिस्टम एक्चुअली ये है कि जो कुछ आप मल्टी डिसिप्लिन सिस्टम में कभी कभी क्या होता है, आपका जो असेसमेंट समटाइम्स कभी नहीं हो पाता यूनिवर्सिटी. अभी जो नेशनल जो अभी पोर्टल जो बनाया गया है ABC एकेडमिक बैंक ऑफ क्रेडिट, इन दिस पोर्टल सम प्रोविजंस आर ऑन डिमांड, यू कैन सो एक्सेस. सो सपोज यूनिवर्सिटी सिस्टम में आपको मालूम नहीं है कि आपने 6 महीना आपने एग्जिट द इंस्टीट्यूशन and you attended some classes, it may be in online or in, but the particulars, the proof of with the proof or particulars has to be submitted to the institutions on demand. So on demand, your examination may be conducted by the institution. This is called on demand exam evaluation system.
Thank you. So thank you very much, sir. एक और सवाल है, क्योंकि NEP में फ्लेक्सिबल पाथवेज की बहुत बड़ी बात की गई है, किस प्रकार से UG सिस्टम फर्स्ट सेकंड में आप एग्जिट आउट कर सकते हो उस पाथवे में से. सो कुछ टीचर्स का ये मानना है कि क्या अगर कोई फर्स्ट या सेकंड ईयर के अंदर ही डिप्लोमा लेके पास आउट करेंगे, सो विल दे गेट एन अपॉर्चुनिटी फॉर एम्प्लॉयमेंट, हाउ विल द एम्प्लॉयमेंट मार्केट ट्रीट देम.
अच्छा, वेरी गुड क्वेश्चन. बिकॉज एम्प्लॉयमेंट जनरेट करने के लिए ही इस सिस्टम को NEP 2020 ने अडॉप्ट किया है. क्योंकि नॉर्मली इन एग्जिस्टिंग एजुकेशन सिस्टम क्या होता है, हमें 3 साल के कोर्सेस में डिग्री प्रोग्राम में हमने गया है, और किसी कारण से मेरा 1 साल के बाद मेरा डिग्री नहीं पूरा हो पाया, शायद मुझे कहीं कुछ हो गया है, मेरी लड़की है तो शादी हो गई, किसी का आर्थिक कंडीशन ठीक नहीं है, सो ही किसी काम में चला गया, छोटी मोटी काम में. तो इन दैट केस, सो आफ्टर completion of a 1 year program, so he will get a certificate. If he is so this certificate may be valid for the for any job, because 1 year certificate is necessary. So another, after you are completing 2 years of the degree, then you will get a diploma or it may be advanced diploma if some technical subjects you are having. So in that case, the 2 years certificate also be employable, because this is just government ki policy here. Because every policy there are interconnectivity, some integrated systems being developed by the government. So abhi immediately we cannot say that after completion of 1 year certificate course I will get a job, but the system is being now developing. So abhi is development के बाद 1-2 साल में we can expect. अभी तक इसको just it is in under process. अभी अगर इस साल मैक्सिमम काफ़ी यूनिवर्सिटी ने इस साल NEP 2020 को अडॉप्ट किया है. दे आर इम्प्लीमेंटिंग इन देयर यूनिवर्सिटी ने. so many state government now coming out to the implement their NEP 2020. But so many state universities still not by state government not taking to implement the NEP 2020. In such a way, some chaos maybe some problems maybe come out. But very near future, because the NEP 20 is a full it is main target up to 2032 to 2032. So up to 2030 we must awaiting. Thank you very much.
धन्यवाद सर. कुछ लोगों ने ये कहा है कि प्रोग्राम बहुत ज़्यादा अंग्रेजी में है और हिंदी में भी होना चाहिए.
अच्छा, धन्यवाद. मैं प्रयास करूंगा हिंदी में बोलने का भी थोड़ा सा. अच्छा, कुछ प्रोग्राम ओके. हाँ, मैंने भी प्रयास.
हम भी ध्यान रखेंगे कि आपको हम दोनों भाषाओं में आपसे बात कर सकें. मैं हिंदी में बोल रही हूँ, सर अंग्रेजी में बोल रहे हैं, और इस तरह से आपको कोई परेशानी ना हो.
हाँ, कुछ टर्मोलॉजी के चलते थोड़ा मुझे बोलना पड़ा, ऐसी नहीं है. हाँ, जनरल कमेंट. थैंक यू. गुड सजेशन. अच्छा है परामर्श.
सभी ने प्रोग्राम को अच्छा माना है और उनको उसको लाभदायक माना है, इसलिए आपको भी
धन्यवाद.
और लास्ट एक क्वेश्चन शायद
अच्छा
इससे पूछा गया है, नैक से रिलेटेड. किसी ने पूछा है कि यदि ऑटोनमस कॉलेजेस जो हैं जो MBA ऑफर कर सकते हैं, क्या उनको AICTE और नैक की गाइडलाइंस फॉलो करना जरूरी है?
हाँ, अभी तक तो नेक या NBA का जो गाइडलाइंस को मानना पड़ेगा. इफ इट इज इंजीनियरिंग कॉलेज एंड MBA, देयर आर सर्टेन गाइडलाइंस ऑफ NBA दैट हैज़ टू बी मेंटेन. और जनरल इंस्टीट्यूशन से तो नेक का जो भी गाइडलाइंस है एज पर देयर जो क्राइटेरिया, उसी हिसाब से हमें आगे बढ़ना पड़ेगा. क्योंकि ये मानना ज़रूरी है, ऑटोनोमस है मतलब बिल्कुल ये नहीं है कि बिल्कुल आप फ्री है, आप अपनी मर्ज़ी से काम कर सकते हैं. देयर आर सम सर्टेन गाइडलाइंस आर देयर. तो हमारे जो परामर्श या जो गाइडलाइंस UGC ने यानी विश्वविद्यालय अनुदान आयोग ने जो बनाया है, उसी के आधार पर ही जाएगा कि उसको देखभाल करने के लिए UGC हैं या AICTE हैं और नेक हैं, आपको देखभाल करेंगे. ऐसा नहीं है कि बिल्कुल ऑटोनॉमी मीन्स फुल प्लेजर ऑटोनॉमी, नॉट प्राइवेटाइजेशन. ऑटोनॉमी टू ऑफरिंग द डिग्री. बिकॉज हमें किसी भी चीज़, आप देखो किसी एक बड़ी यूनिवर्सिटी है, उनके पास 400 से 600 कॉलेजेस हैं. तो 400 से 600 कॉलेजेस को एक साथ इनको एवोल्यूशन करके डिग्री देने में उनको ऑन टाइम एग्जामिनेशन कंडक्ट नहीं कर पाते हैं, ऑन टाइम रिजल्ट नहीं दे पाते हैं, जिससे बच्चे परेशान होते हैं, नुकसान बच्चे का. इसीलिए ऑटोनॉमी देने से, मान लीजिए मेरे इंस्टीट्यूशन में 200 बच्चे पढ़ रहे हैं, तो 200 बच्चों को उनकी डिग्री देने में हमें कोई प्रॉब्लम यानी कोई समस्या नहीं होगी. धन्यवाद.
चलिए सर, बहुत सारे सवाल आए थे और लगभग सभी का आपने बहुत अच्छी तरह से जवाब दे दिया है, और मुझे पूरी विश्वास है कि सभी आपके सवालों के जवाब से संतुष्ट होंगे. इसके साथ ही I'd like to take this opportunity to thank our honorable Pro-Vice Chancellor, Professor Kiran Hazarika ji,
धन्यवाद.
who has talked about a very, very important aspect, which is the transformation of higher education institutions. I hope that you will find this useful and use it for your further development in this program, which is being offered by STRIDE IGNOU, the NEP EDP program. Thank you very much.
थैंक यू. धन्यवाद. नमस्कार.
Welcome learners. Today we are going to talk about the perspectives relating to multidisciplinary education and also how it is going to affect our learning space. For me, I am currently working as director of this institute, which you could see from this visual, and this was one of the first inter-university center to look at the fundamental question that what is the building block of matter. So this is one such center which started exploring the possibilities in nuclear sciences, but later on we realized that this can be used for multi-dimensional aspects, and now the name of this center is changed to Inter-University Accelerator Center. So when I talk about the evolution of Indian higher education, if you go back to the 5th or 6th century to 5th century AD, there was Takshila, and this Takshila was established in Gandhar, which is now in Pakistan. The Vedas and also the 18 arts, which included skills such as archery, hunting and elephant lore, they were taught in these school of learnings, law schools, medical school and school of military science. The Ayurvedic healer Charak, he studied at Takshila. Arthashastra by Chanakya Kautilya was also composed at Takshila. It is not me, but you can see it from Wikipedia. The University of Nalanda, which was during the 5th century to 12th century in India, it has the greatest achievement of ancient period in the field of education. It was one of the world's first residential universities, and about 10,000 students, 2,000 teachers, they were on the campus, and the faculty student ratio is unimaginable. It was 1:5. The library was a 9-storied building, and meticulous copies of texts were produced and preserved in this library. Students in those days, they studied science, astronomy, medicine and logic as diligently as they applied themselves to metaphysics, philosophy, Sankhya, Yoga Shastra, the Vedas and the scriptures of Buddhism. Likewise, they also studied the foreign policy philosophy, transcending the ethnic and national boundaries, and because of that, that seat of learning attracted pupils and scholars from Korea, Japan, China, Tibet, Indonesia, Persia, Turkey and other parts of the globe. Nalanda represents the concept of university of the ancient period, and somehow we missed. Very recently, when we started setting up the modern universities, after a large gap of 600 years, when this Nalanda University was destroyed, or you can say after the University of Bologna in Italy in 1088, after 769 years, we started setting up the seat of learnings, the modern universities, Bombay, Calcutta, Madras, and they were all founded in 1857. And then the fourth modern university, University of Allahabad, it was set up in 1887. And I am proud alumnus of this university, which was known as Oxford of the East. These universities, they began as a purely examining bodies, and the territorial jurisdiction extended to large number of territory. And later on, Indian Universities Commission was appointed in 1902, and the Indian Universities Act was passed in 1904. For example, University of Allahabad, it was under central governance, then it became a state university, and again it has been reincorporated at central university. When we talk about a good university, so good university means teaching takes place, we teach in a good university, but a great university transforms the entire society, the psyche of a student. Because of that, the good university only produces graduates, whereas the great university produces leaders of all walks of life. So the quality, culture and adaptability should be an attempt to answer to the question of competitiveness in higher education. for which we have started working again, and this new education policy 2020 talks about many such things, and I will be talking only about multidisciplinary education, how we can have multiple entry and exit to the different programs. Before that, why this multidisciplinarity is important, I will let you know that this is called a dawn of knowledge era, in which the science and technology has developed in such a manner that we can see the unparalleled economic growth, because of which there is a globalization, there is a competition, innovation, and also simultaneously you can see uncontrolled exploitation of Earth's resources. This 21st century is the century of knowledge, and the process of transition is not stopped, it's still going on. So whatever we did in 20th century, it was because we had a unprecedented gain in advancing human development, industrial growth, and eradication of poverty in certain regions of the world, and we can attribute all these developments, all these progresses because of technological breakthrough. But I will let you know why this role of science and technology need to be recalibrated at this juncture when we are ushering to the new era. The reason being, the foremost reason is that the progress in science has been, for the most part, insular, monolithic, and unitary. Why it is unitary? Why it is monolithic? Because it has progressed in a exponential rate, and that rate is about 7% per annum. Every 10 to 15 years it doubles, and every half a century you can see a factor of 10 by which it develops. In last 300 years, you can see that it has developed a million times more. And if I compare with the evolution of society, that domain is 10,000 years. So you can always notice there is a phase lag. Science and technology has developed, has evolved at a very faster pace, whereas the societal evolution has remained almost stagnant, but this phase lag has resulted into many anomalies. So when we say that scientific revolution has outpaced the social revolution, not only for a few years, but over a century now, because of that you can see many issues which are now bothering you. Maybe it is environment, energy, health, natural hazards, the species are getting extinct, the unsustainability which is in your consumption, and also because all these things you can see that inequalities are growing. The gap between haves, have-nots, those who know, those who don't know, that gap is growing, and there is a divide which did not come into sharper focus soon enough. And because of that, the paradox of our time is that despite the fact that we have spectacularly advanced in science and technology, the economic progress is unprecedented, we have improved in the quality of life, the inequalities which have grown up, because of which the knowledge divide is there, and because of that you can see many of the part of the world is troubled. On the other side, without minding the scarce resources, we have started consuming at a faster rate, because of which the resources are depleting, and the planet, the Earth planet, is at stress. And in very recently, this IPCC that was that recognized the climate change because of anthropogenic activities, and for which Nobel Prize was shared by IPCC and Al Gore, just to highlight that this unsustainability of our activities, which are because of our activities, human activities, the climate change is inevitable, and it is going to bring many catastrophic changes in the society. This is one such example. If you visit any part of the country, you will find the water bodies which are at distress. None of the water bodies, the rivers, they are in the pure state of the form, and because of overconsumption, they have become unsustainable. Many of the cities across the world, even Delhi, that becomes gas chamber. It is difficult to survive in those days when the humidity and also this fume, the gas exhausts keep people bothered. The air quality becomes poorer, and sometimes it also helps many such problems which are due to this. So what we call, these are the effluents of the effluent. What we can do without using the single use of plastics, we are using without knowing how this is going to affect the environmental pollution, how the environment is going to get degraded. And very recently you might have also come to know that there was a foam which was floating when Eastern India people, they wanted to have a festival in Yamuna. So Yamuna was converted in a different, like we used to say it is foam filled with the foam. And many of the rivers, for example, Varanasi is known because there are two rivers, Varuna and Assi. Assi river is almost converted as a nala. So that is another issue which is bothering you, and we have to be mindful. The other important thing is the health and human being, they are affected because of epidemics, because of several terminal diseases, and because of the quality of life. The aging population is on the higher side, but we are not able to sustain their activities, and this is one such area in which we need to worry, and that is many of the species, they are getting extinct. So why this is happening, we need to look at this part, and because of that we have to have the phase lag which is there between societal lag and also societal evolution, and also the technological development need to be minimized to make people understand that we have to work for the sustainability of this earth. Another important dimension which has been added is because of the shrinking time domains. Way back in 1830, when Faraday discovered about the Faraday's law, it took more than 50 years to get it implemented in terms of some kind of technology, electricity. The DNA model which was proposed by Watson-Crick, 20 years took for genetic engineering to take forward. Very recently, when carbon nanotube by IGNOU came in 1991, within 10 years it got implemented in logic circuits. So what you can notice that in the last 30 years, and if you compare the last 15 years, 5,000 years, the last 30 years are the years which have generated more new information as compared to the previous 5,000 years. So that is another area in which the time domain has shrunk, and you could see the number of different revolutions which took place when mechanical production started, the first industrial revolution, then second industrial revolution, then the third industrial revolution, and now we are at the brink of the fourth industrial revolution, which is based on cyber physical systems. So at the end of 18th century, this industrial revolution 1.0 came. Beginning of the century, this 2.0, 70s, 3.0, today it is 4.0, and the complexity level is increasing. The other important thing is that when we started working with the basic telephone, it took 75 years to reach to 100 million customers, but the games which are coming, the online activities which are going, in 1 month we can reach to 100 million customers. So that is another shrinking the domain, and for this, the changes which are there due to the fourth industrial revolution, we need to have different kind of employability skills. So these skills are necessary to survive in 21st century, because the trouble which is there, the troubled world, because of this knowledge gap, because of the galloping consumption. So the violence and terror, changing skill sets, the employability requirements, lifelong learning necessity, changing the learner profile, be it family structure from joint family to nuclear families to large number of demographic dividend which is due to which gives you the adolescent concerns, and also the growth of knowledge which I have just exemplified, the changed work environment, people have become tech savvy. We have to look at different ways by which we can access information, and also assessment can be done, and that necessitates the changes in our curriculum or pedagogy. We are also requiring different kind of thinking skills. It was not only rote learning which was predominantly utilized by the learners. We have to experiment, we have to compare, we have to invent, we have to go for critiquing, we have to go for interrogating, we have to go for judging. So these are some of the higher order thinking skills which need to be worked out, and you could see the earlier pedagogy heavily relied on the lower level of competencies, that was remembering, understanding, applying. So they were the lowest level of competencies. But in coming days, when we talk about the new higher thinking skills, we need to know about how we can analyze, how we can evaluate, how we can create. Creativity should be there, and because of that, we need to change in the assessment forms. And for that, the focus in the new age science is not only addressing human needs and concerns, but also there are many opportunities which are described in form of UN Millennium Development Goals, for example, hunger, health, education, environment, that are linked with the global change research programs, that is climate change, energy issues. So the education system should be geared up to take the challenges so that this Millennium Development Goals can be attained. If you talk about human rights is composed of 5 such rights: civil rights, political rights, economic rights, social rights, cultural rights. The upper half, civil rights and political rights, are guaranteed to some extent, but the 3 other rights, which are the lower side which in this viewgram, economic rights, social rights and cultural rights, they are neglected half of the human rights. And to work with the human rights fully, we need to recognize these rights, and for that we have to deal with the sphere of human beings working, they are producing, they are servicing, how we are going to improve their standard of living, the quality of life, not for one person but all the persons, and also how we can deal with the cultural rights in terms of cultural sphere of life, including ethnic culture, subcultures, arts and science. So these neglected half of human rights, they are again depicted in unfinished MDGs, the Millennium Development Goals, which can be classified as social, economic and environmental. You can have this no poverty, these are the 17 millennium goals, zero hunger, good health and well-being, quality education, gender equality, clean water and sanitation. If it is economic SDGs, then affordable and clean energy, recent work and economic growth, industry, innovation and infrastructure, reduced inequalities, sustainable cities and communities, and sustainable consumption and production. Environment SDGs are also important, very much important. They are climate action, life below water, life on land, whereas 16th and 17th goals are the means of implementation of these SDGs. Now the question arises, what can science do? In the 21st century, we have to have a more inclusive view of science. It should not be insular, it should not be monolithic, it should not be unitary. And the conception that science is autonomous is now considered unsustainable. So if we do not remove the phase lag between societal evolution and also the technology development, we are going to be faced with the several sustainability issues. So the new role of science talks about innovation by talking to other streams of knowledges with the science, keeping view the sustainable development part, for which we have to innovate, and for innovation we require higher thinking skills, which was missing in our sets of skills when we were simply focusing on remembering, understanding and applying some of the things. Now the science needs to shed its splendid isolation, and for that the societal engagement is required with the science. The policy linkage should be there, for which again innovation is required. So we need to have a synergy between scientific and societal progress, and that helps both science as well as society. Why? In science we get values, different methods to deal with, and different products which are sustainable. On the other side, unless otherwise society accepts the developments of the science and technology, it is equitably distributed, and also it also keeps in mind that unless otherwise it is sustainable, we are not going to use those products, or we have to minimize the uses. Then both science and society cohabit with each other, and because of that the science becomes responsible, transparent, and understand the full implications of new discoveries in the context of moral and ethical values and sustainability of our planet, whereas society sheds its cynicism and skepticism about science and recognizes its centrality for human good. So that means the compartmentalization of our education system, in which those who used to study only science, or even in the sciences the branches were divided into biological science, life sciences, or mathematical science, or physical sciences, they were not talking to each other. And the problem, or the real problem, the solution of these real problems lie at the interface of many disciplines. It is not limited to only one discipline, for which we need to train a particular segment of the society or the student by simply giving some knowledge about the know-how, or giving the technical know-how to understand the technique and apply the technique for just for the sake of applying the technique. Instead, we should have good appreciation that where several such techniques will be required, by which we can actually solve the real problem and find out the problem which are needed for the sustainable development of our country. Another important thing is that if you look at the pass percentage and also the learning outcome, if you are good at understanding, the chances of failure will be minimum. If you don't understand, definitely the student is going to fail the examination. On the other side, this quadrant also gives you kind of feeling that if you know better, if you have a good understanding, you will pass the examination. So on top, both the things are same. Like if you understand better, the chances of failure will be minimum, and chances of passing will also be reasonably good. But why I am concerned about the fourth quadrant, and that is I am being modest, that poor understanding is there, but the people are passing the examination, and that number is not less number. That is also a sizable number of people who without understanding they write the examination and they get the pass certificate. So that is a matter of concern for all of us, and unless otherwise we ensure that the student has understood or the learning outcomes are achieved, this will be a simple example of getting some kind of certificate without knowing much. To handle those issues which I have just summarized, the new education policy has come forward with a new vision, and that vision is nothing other than the Takshila, the Nalanda vision. When we had all these things, that this policy is talking about holistic education, the futuristic education, the flexibility in our system that gives you value-based quality higher education, promoting access, equity, affordability, accountability, and also on top of that quality. Everything is required for developing good, thoughtful, well-rounded and creative individuals by enabling them to develop their character, ethical and constitutional values, intellectual curiosity, scientific temper, creativity, and spirit of service. So, if these are the attributes which are there, then only we can think that our education system has resulted into a student who is a good human being and can be considered as global citizen. So the concept of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam is only possible if we have well-rounded individuals who are trained for their values, for their all-round development, with having all kind of intellectual curiosity, and that is what is needed out of this system. Welcome learners. Today we are going to talk about the perspectives relating to multidisciplinary education and also how it is going to affect our learning space. So if we wish to pursue excellence in research with global and social impact, excellence in outcome-based education for globally competent graduates, excellence in professional services and social engagement, excellence in management for sustainable organization, we need to go for holistic education, and also new education policy talks about the same. So you can see these are the numbers which are still being pursued. We are going to make statutory changes for curriculum design, especially for learning outcome based framework. The faculty development programs are being strengthened, and we are going to put in place the assessment and accreditation of all the programs, all the institutions, so that the robust mechanism is put in place for formative assessment, for getting this credit bank strengthened, lifelong learning opportunity can be provided, and also learning outcome based accreditation can be put in place. That is what this policy aims at. Saying holistic development of a student on cognitive framework and also on conceptual parameters. In a country that has large number of learners, we have to have technology and innovation. Unless otherwise, the student's holistic development is ensured by recognizing or identifying the unique capability of each student. We should not have any separation between vocational and academics, the general education. We have to emphasize more on conceptual understanding. To reach out a large number of students in the country, we have to use technology extensively, and post-COVID, this is one such possibility in which we can think of scaling it up. The learning environment should also be flexible, because learning, relearning, or sometimes we can say that skilling, upskilling, reskilling, unskilling, these are required because the employability depends on different kind of evolving structure which is coming up in terms of Industry 4.0, and for that the critical thinking and creativity is considered to be the topmost for higher education institutions. Should not be limited only to the low level of competencies. We should move to high level of competencies, and then only we can have respect for diversity and for the local concept. So there must be the concern for inclusion in curriculum, pedagogy, and also the policy. The quality is one such important framework which need to be emphasized, and be it institutions, be it your pedagogy, be it the learning system, the learning communities, everywhere, entire framework should look at the universalization. There must not be a gap in knowledge or a gap in the performance in one spatio-temporal frame. For example, in one part of the country, if we are lacking in quality, we are not doing justice to the HEI. And for that, we have to start understanding what the differences are there in different kind of educational strategies. We were teacher-centered till date, but we should go for student-centered. Whatever a student requires, we have to provide them. For example, there are issues relating to the problem-based issues, the information gathering, only we are collecting information and passing it on to the students, the learners. The discipline-based curriculum is again kind of impediment for the problem-solving issues, so we should have integrated approach. Community-based, what the community needs, accordingly we have to provide them all those things. We need to put many electives depending on the requirements of a learner, the employability skills which he need to put in emphasis, that should be given, and also systematic strategies regarding the other forms of learning should be put in place. And in that sense, the descriptors for learning outcome progression is, from a curriculum, we should know what is the course learning outcome, what is the program learning outcome, how the graduate profile shall be populated based on these learning outcomes. And this framework talks about everything, the outcomes and also the supporting assessment evaluation ways by which the feedback is provided through improvements, so that the mission can be achieved for the courses learning outcomes, the student outcomes. If we clearly define what is the program outcome, what is the course outcome, and they are assessed, not summative assessment, but by way of formative assessment, the student can improve and student can move towards the higher level of competencies, and this is what is required, for which the continual quality improvement is a must. From student side, it is not that only HEIs depend on the instructors. The student should also participate as an active learner, and they should come prepared for each class. So for that, the flipped classroom can be an opportunity for them, so that beforehand they have gone through the video lectures or the material, and then they are clearing the doubt inside the class, or they are discussing the things from the perspective of high level of competencies instead of going for the rote learning. So they have to contribute by teaching others, they have to actively participate, they have to take risk, they have to learn from instructors and sometimes classmates. Generally, learning takes place outside the classroom when we discuss, when we resolve some of the issues which we could not understand during the class. The ethics is also important, because we have to respect, we have to trust, and we have to be open. If we don't know something, definitely we have to come out and we have to tell that this part is not known to me. And also, the learning commitment is there, only then you can go for the continual improvement. This action learning formula, action learning is having several such components. Acquiring knowledge is one part. Sometimes when we learn accidentally, so that is called experiential learning. We have done something, we have noticed that by doing this we get this kind of change. We work in a group and then we learn in that group, and then sometimes some complex problems are given for solving those problems. If we have insightful questioning, if suppose I am asking the same question which is there, which is already been asked in your question papers, the student will never ever go for insightful or active learning way. So learning occurs through program knowledge, which is already there in form of your curriculum. Traditional instructions are the routine questions, describe this, explain this, state and prove something. But on top of that, at least 30% of the questions should come from insightful questioning which is new to the learner, new to the examinee in the classroom. So in a program outcome, I will list about A to K: ability to acquire and apply fundamental principles, capability to communicate effectively, this is the core. Even if you are graduated from a good institution, you need to communicate effectively. Acquisition of technical competence in specialized areas, ability to identify, formulate and model the problems, and then find solutions, not necessarily only engineering solutions, but many other solutions are there. Ability to conduct research in chosen field, understanding of importance of sustainability and cost effectiveness, which I have already just explained why this sustainability is important. Understanding and commitment to professional and ethical responsibilities. Because this is I 4.0, we are going to work in a virtual space, so we have to have the ability to work effectively as an individual, as a member, as a leader in a team, and sometimes the team is a virtual team. Ability to be multi-skilled engineer or good technical knowledge, management, leadership and entrepreneurial skills. Awareness of the social, cultural, global, environmental responsibilities as an engineer and also as a professional. Capability and enthusiasm for self-improvement through continuous professional development and lifelong learning. So these are A to K, these are considered to be the program outcomes, and we have to translate these in terms of our own curricula, our own subject. I have taken example from engineering background, but it can be for different disciplines as well. So in case of outcome-based education curricula, it is the program objective, the program outcome, the course outcome and performance indicators need to be spelled. It is objective and outcome driven. It is not that something is memorized and at the end you get score 100% marks or 90% marks, but you don't know how to solve the problem. So it is centered around the needs of the students and the stakeholders. So that differentiates from the traditional way of learning if I compare it with the outcome-based learning. So every learning outcome is intentional. It is not that something which has accidentally come to me. So it should be intentionally designed in such a manner that learning outcome becomes the suitable performance indicator, and for which we need to put the program objectives and program outcomes well defined, formulated based on the attainments, maybe during the course of the duration, which can be from 3 to 5 years. So outcomes, they address the knowledge, skills and attitudes that need to be attained by a student. Teaching learning method may have to be integrated to include definite delivery method to complement the traditional lecturing method, and there are variety of ways by which the program prepares a student for their career and professional accomplishments. They must be with in consistence with the institution missions, and they should involve the constituents or the stakeholders as an evidence. So program outcomes which I have just listed, skills, knowledge and behavior attitude, the outcomes are from A to K. What we have decided in our curriculum, the multiple entry, multiple exit, that first few years after your graduation, the graduates need to perform certain actions, certain jobs, certain activities, and they are equipped with all those tools, all those skills which are required for the local needs or global needs, or from the viewpoint of the vision of institution, or for different kind of stakeholders, those who are going to employ you or for whom you are going to work. So the PEOs, which are program educational objectives, they are feedback format. We collect the data from stakeholders, whether that particular student has fulfilled those requirements or not, whether he is employable to your institution or not, to what extent they have attained those PEOs, what kind of review, what kind of mid-correction is required so that the quality can be put in place, and this is again because of this Washington Accord, this accreditation agencies of the country, they are based on attributes. National Board of Accreditation, they look the possibility for learning outcome based accreditation of the programs. So if you talk about the different levels of Bloom and the program outcomes, I have taken few examples. If I go by the basic things like remember, understand, apply, analyze, evaluate. So these low level of competencies, remember, understand, and then on top of that you can apply, you can analyze, you can evaluate, you can define the program outcomes, that where we are going to apply the knowledge, how we are going to solve the problem, how we are going to design or develop the solutions, and that solutions are not only limited to one particular discipline, but it is lying on the interface of many disciplines, and for that we need to involve many disciplines in the curriculum. And we are supposed to get assessed the program as well as the course. Student surveys are done, the individual and focus group interviews takes place, peer evaluations, self-evaluations, student profiles, variety of ways are there by which we can assess the success of outcome-based education, for which we have formulated one national higher education quality framework for making it globally recognized, and there are different levels which demand different kind of skills. For example, level 5, level 6 to level 10, different kind of skills and their composition is required. At level 5, we may be only interested in cognitive skills that are required to identify, analyze and synthesize information from range of sources. Whereas at level 10, that is PhD, the cognitive and technical skills, they are required for conceptualizing, designing and implementing research to generate original knowledge. So you can see how these different skills that are required to perform and accomplish tasks vary from level 5 to level 10, and if it comes to the definition of the qualification which will be getting at different levels, so level 5 means UG certificate, which is 1 year duration, number of semester may be 2. So that is what is prescribed, and that is going to be implemented as National Higher Education Quality Framework. 6 is UG diploma, 7 is the degree which you get, bachelor's degree, honors or research, then 8 PG diploma, 9 is master's degree, and 10, level 10 is doctoral degree. So the conventional degree 10 plus 2 plus 3, after that we used to had this BSc of 3 years, MSc of 2 years and PhD of at least 3 years, that has been given or split for different entry and exit, for which the credit requirements are also prescribed. The type of qualification and the credit requirements for different levels is also described, and this is entry, exit, re-entry and lateral entry kind of thing, in which after entering into higher education institution, after level 5 you can exit, after level 6 you can also exit, and there is a possibility at entry again at 5 level through different verticals. If you are coming from a vocational education stream, if you are coming from a skills framework, you can get inducted into general education and vice versa. So that is what the framework prescribes you, and the efforts are being made to synchronize the skill quality framework with higher education quality framework, how they are going to get in sync, so that from one vertical to other vertical people can move, people can acquire some skills, can get some general education coursework from a university, from an institution, and the importance shall also be given to vocationalization of education, in which the practice-based curriculum, the mapping of local opportunities, courses to be offered through open distance mode, and exposure to all the vocational education can also be given to different learners. Lok Vidya, many of the things are there as a treasure in our cultural system, which we do not know how to use that Lok Vidya. That will also be made accessible to the students. The skill framework, which I have just given a framework by which we can have a lateral induction from one set of education system, from skill framework to vocational to general education, that is also a possibility. And vocational craft, that is internship opportunity for any student who is in grade 6 to 8. They can go for different kind of vocations, be it carpenter, gardener, potters, artists. The idea behind this kind of integration is that we take a degree. Suppose I have graduated in physics, but I do not know how to change the bulb, how to make simple corrections in our electrical circuitry. So that is sometimes ridiculous, and that part need to be addressed. If I have trained somebody, have given some degree, so that graduate should justify, should be capable of having all those skills which are needed to resolve a problem which are there beforehand. So this is a schematic in which you can see, which is in the form of regulations, regulation issued by UGC, and you can see the three verticals which are there: the skills, vocational, and general education. So we have given importance to prior knowledge. So recognition of prior knowledge is there. Some quality packs are being developed so that if you have acquired some vocational skill, vocational education from somewhere, or you have a skill education, you have got something, or you are knowing something from your past experience, that can be counted and you can laterally get inducted into the general education system. I have given the credit details and also the hours which are required, years which are required for getting those credits, so that you can get at least something in your hand after completing 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 4 year, which are in terms of level 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Way outcome based accreditation is why it is required, because we have to have our employable people, employable student from the perspective of global citizen. So the globalization has brought in a clear shift from education as transmission of expert knowledge to education as building learner competencies, for which learning to learn and keep learning across your entire life. So again I will repeat that learning, relearning, sometimes unlearning, and that is possible if you can skill yourself, you can upskill yourself, you can reskill yourself. So these are some of the things which need to be put in place in such a manner that entire of your lifelong learning activity, you can enjoy the learning things and also contributing to economic value in a meaningful way. To conclude, I will cite one such quote from Honorable APJ Abdul Kalam, the President of India. He wrote in his Vision to Mission in 2003 that I am not interested in listening to 100 ways by which it cannot be done. Can you tell me one way in which it can be done? If I am authorized, I will remove the word impossible. So a student after graduating, what he should learn, that he should remove the word impossible from his dictionary, and that is only possible if he has trained his mind in such a manner that he is looking for a solution, not for an excuse that I cannot solve this problem because I was not taught in my class or it was not in my curriculum. So that should not happen, and that is only possible if we have this holistic education, and in which we have to swim, which we have to dive, not as a learner but also as a teacher, as a stakeholder of higher education system, in which you have to take part in your world, and that world is education system, higher education system in the country. We have to regain the past glories which we had in form of our seats of learning, be it Takshila, be it Nalanda. So governing our mind and feeling the power of the world of the senses, struggling to regain your self-control, we need to know what is going to be a fulfilling activity for the world. So we have to work through devotion, and which pays off more greatly than work through ambition. So there is a difference. We can be ambitious, but on top of that, we need to be devoted, and only a devoted person can have these attributes fulfilled. So these are some of the things which need to be put in place. Thank you very much for patient listening. Thank you.